Hi, Fashion Dolls. We are back with the main show. It is Winston Wednesday, April 2nd. And we just got through with our very first interview. It is Two Show Tuesday. So both shows will be uploaded to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube. Our very special guest is in the hit film Love Lies Bleeding. He is an actor born and raised in the Dallas, Texas area, and I'm super excited to have him here in the dollhouse. So without further ado, let's welcome our second very special guest here in the main show, George M. Dean. And we're back, Interview and show number 1 is up with Kentrell as well too. I hope you guys do as well. I had such a great time with Kentrell. So make sure you guys check out that interview if you haven't. Oh, what? All you got to do is press that arrow and flip your cam. There we are. Welcome to the dollhouse.
I'm glad to be here.
Such a pleasure to have you here. So before we kick off this interview, how has 2025 been treating you so far?
A lot busier than 2024.
Yes. Yes. So much has happened. I must say that 2025 is the year for us to be awakened, more so awakened in our careers, our aspects, and so much more. As I was just telling my previous guest, more so being in the present, living in the now. So you have a lot going on, a lot of projects, but I like to start from the beginning of the journey. Now, you were born in Dallas, Texas, am I correct?
Yes, that's originally born.
Yes. How many siblings? How many brothers, sisters? Tell us a little bit about your upbringing.
Well, there's 13 of us. Yeah, I'm probably fifth from the top, I think.
Wow, wow. I have four brothers and I have two sisters. And I just said in the previous one of my sisters is unfortunately no longer with me. So we grew up a pretty big family, a lot of cousins, a lot of siblings, and we're always looking out for one another, supporting one another in each other's vision. So what was it like for you growing up in Dallas, Texas? A young boy, aspirations of acting, because you do so many things, you wear so many hats, but aspirations growing up as a young boy in Dallas, Texas. At what age did you discover the mark of saying, okay, this is something that I want to get into, acting?
Well, I'd say it probably happened when I was, I think probably 15 or so. I spent a lot of time because I grew up in a pretty rough neighborhood, Oak Cliff, Dallas. So I didn't go out much. And I spent a lot of time in front of the television watching old 80s sitcoms. And, didn't have the best upbringing. So I kind of created a mental vision in my head of these dads from these shows like, Family Matters and the Wonder Years and things of what I wished my family was. So I kind of created in my own little world from television and sitcoms where I lived vicariously pretending that that was my life growing up. And I guess when I was 15, I realized that I started to come to the recollection that that's not realistic. That's not what's happening here. But maybe I could get into the world of people that's willing to bring that to television and be a part of all of that. And that's kind of what drew me into it. And I just kind of started pretending all the time. I'd go to school in different outfits. As most actors will tell you, if they realize and they act out in school, it doesn't exactly make you popular. So you don't spend a lot of time with a ton of friends. So you got plenty of time for your imagination and to play around. And I'd watch a movie, and for the next 2 weeks, I'd be that character. I remember a specific movie, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. After I watched that, I wore a trench coat for like 3 weeks and thought I was Pike, and I was Mister BA guy that's just running around in my trench coat being super cool. It's a lot of that. And that's what kind of led me into theater, which is where my career started.
And look at you now. You've done theater, you've done commercial, you've done film, you've done television, you've done it all throughout your career. But I want to go to theater for a minute because a lot of actors they've started off in theater from Felicia Rashad so many have started off in theater. And it's a complete different experience. How we're doing it now live, it's a complete different experience. Of course, you're on set, but in real time, if you mess up, the audience can catch on to it. So, what's been the craziest thing that has happened to you while on stage in theater, doing theater?
Uh, I think it was during the paper chase. We were doing Act Two, and there was a wardrobe malfunction. Now, the woman I've been married to for 20 plus years, she used to do our costumes when we were in college for theater, and that's kind of like where our love story begins. But there was a wardrobe malfunction that threw us all off, and we completely missed like half of Act Two, and we just skipped ahead of it. And that when you do that in theater, that messes up the guys that have to move everything, and it messes up the crew that's got to bring out sets. It messes up everybody who had lines that are now have to move forward in their minds on where they're supposed to come in. Luckily, we were able to play it off, and they didn't notice, but we noticed. And then at the end of the show, I think everyone noticed they got out 20 minutes early. So that happens in live theater. It's easier to do that. Like I've done Shakespeare in the Park, which is what I really think taught me how to act more than anything that I've ever done besides Faith. Hibbs Clark, who's my acting coach, and she has changed everything for me. And I want to give a shout out to CMFA acting training because it's what got me to where I'm at now. But Shakespeare will teach you, and you can't mess up like that in Shakespeare because it's hard enough to keep up with the linguistics, the language, and the flow of the story. And to feed that to an audience, to get them to understand the modern understanding of the Shakespearean words while performing is difficult enough. You take pieces out of that and it's game over. So, you can't have those kind of mistakes with that type of theater.
Absolutely. And I want to give a shout out to my brother, my boo, Kwame Speaks. Please make sure you guys go and check out Pyro Media Network. Very informative. Always engaged on what's going on in the current world culture and so much more. Had to give that shout out. But I'm going to go to Shakespeare for a minute because when you're talking and reciting Shakespeare, you're reading it and it doesn't sound how we're actually talking right now. It's more so if you read the Bible and there's certain parts in there, the word sounds kind of funky, but you're reading it out and you're having to recite this to the crowd. And it's so crazy you mentioned that because how I got introduced through public speaking was through Shakespeare. In high school, my teacher, my English language arts teacher, shout out to Miss Ferguson, she had us recite one of the lines from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream. And the class had to stand up before the class, which was a nerve-wracking thing. And it's just like, why are we all nervous and we see each other every single day? She was preparing us for when we go in front of the real world, how we're doing now with public speaking, and millions of people are watching, or people will go back and watch. I was nervous. Um, George, when I tell you my heart was beating through my chest, but I'm just like, why are you nervous? Everybody sees you every day. We see each other every day. We're always pulling pranks. One of the students put a fake lizard in the teacher's desk. So, I mean, why are we nervous? But she kind of brought us out of our shell. And that's what got me into public speaking. Just for her telling us, we want you to do this lesson. Remember this certain line from William Shakespeare. And it's helped throughout our career. What do you remember the most about William Shakespeare? What is a piece that stands the test of time to you?
Uh, Probably the large amounts of hours studying infliction. When I did The Tempest, there's nonstop monologues for the entire first act. And a little side note, I adopted a boy last year who I've been raising for a while, and he just auditioned at his high school for The Tempest and got the lead role. So I've been able to sit with him and show him my old DVDs of when I was the Tempest in the same play, and I've been able to go over it again, and it kind of brought everything back to the front of my mind on how many hours, like memorizing lines. You had to do that right away. Get that done, knock it out within the first month, because the rest of the time it's infliction, infliction, infliction. If you cannot understand the words yourself, they're not going to understand it when you perform it. So you gotta figure out the story and use every resource you can that's out there on the story. There wasn't as many movies when I did it as there are now of The Tempest. That makes it a little easier for him. But, there was resources that could help me understand it better. Watching other Shakespeare plays and reenactments and things like that helped me understand how it all worked. But man, the hours you got to spend on linguistics is insane compared to anything I've ever done, and it's completely different than every kind of acting because with theater it's about projecting. With movies, it's about the tone of your voice and the pacing and how you perform off of other actors, where you're reactionary. And with TV, it can be a variety of things depending on if you're doing comedy or if you're doing like a piece drama like NCIS. So it's its own beast all by itself, and it gets used, like you said, interestingly enough, for like public speaking and things like that. It's one of the things in acting that get used for so much more outside of acting. It's crazy.
And speaking of theater and Shakespeare, you attended ACCC and Washburn University. So tell us a little bit about your experience attending ACCC.
Well, I went to ACCC for one person alone. A shout out to Tony Piazza. He was our director and the guy that leads it. He's from New York, but his wife was from a small area, and he wanted to move back home where her family was. So I had the advantage of going to a smaller school to start my career and being under Tony Piazza, and he took us to things in Chicago and New York to practice our craft and do competitions and things like that that made us better actors. And it was a wild, amazing experience. At Washburn, I kind of stayed. I messed with the theater department a little bit, but kind of backed out of it at that point because I was focused more on my business career at the time. But Allen County is really where I blossomed in my acting career as far as theater went. And after my first year, I guess he saw something in me. And after that, it was just lead role after lead role and getting to go to competitions, getting to travel and learn from people on the East Coast that are just amazing in their craft. And so I just got the bug, and it was a lot of fun. And I can't remember acting being more enjoyable than it was at Allen County Community College. Of all the places, I had the most fun there. Not that it's not nice to have a trailer on set so you can post it and say, "Hey, look, I'm on set with A24 or whatever." But the pure joy, like you can't capture that in a bottle. You just can't.
Yes, and it's such a feeling being able to network, step outside of your element, and also be able to meet other actors as well too, and learn the skill, learn the craft. It's sort of like getting your feet wet in a new town. And for a lot of new actors out here, what are some gems that you would give them as it pertains to coming up? Because I did a horror film. I know I'm not Holly Berry. I went in with no acting experience at all. And my brother, shout outs to my brother K2, who is the host of the K2 spot. Make sure you guys head on over and subscribe and check his platform out as well. So we've done a couple collaborations. Um, I said, brother, I've never acted before. I told him this because I got the role on my birthday. And the director, he wanted me to play a college professor. Now, see how my hair is long today? And I'm all about appearance. I'm all about glamour, beauty, makeup, all of these things. So I had at least 34 inches of hair going down my back. It's very beautiful. And the director said, "Oh no, we gonna cut it short."
Ooh.
So I said, "You're kidding, right?" But I got why he did it because he didn't want me to look like the students in the classroom. He wanted me to look like a college professor. And I said, "Okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna let you put the look together." And we did it. And I remember doing the table read, nailed the table read. Never done a table read in my entire life. And the film is called The Assistant to Reconnected. It was a horror film. And this was totally out of my element. I've never stepped on this type of territory. And shout outs to my colleagues and co-stars in the film, Roman and my brother Scott Valentine, for also guiding me along the way. Like, you got it, you got it, you got it, sister. You're doing well. So it was new for me. So for a lot of people, for a lot of new actors that are looking to get into the business, what are some gems that you would give them as it pertains to perfecting their craft and technique? Because you're always wanting to work on, okay, am I tapping into the character enough? And being able to take that character, not take the character home, but know when it's time to wear that character's cross and put on those shoes of the character and walk in those shoes of the what are some gems that you would give?
First off, it depends on what they're looking for.
Mm,
If they want to act for the joy of it and they're not looking to make a huge career out of it, just getting independent films and doing some local training and, just practicing monologues in the mirror, spending time seeing what your face does. Like I said with CMFA before, what we talk about a lot is we talk about the auditions that are all online now and how to shoot those and how to have like specific like spots in the sky where you put the other characters and kind of drawing out the scene. But that's more for auditions. If I'd rather talk a little bit more about what you want if you want to actually make a career out of it. There's really three things you've got to do to get the attention of an agent. And I'm on my fourth agent now. So I started with Moxie Talent in Kansas City doing just commercials. And that's how big that's ever going to be. It's not a market for anything more than that much. It has a little bit going on, but it's not. So I actually bought an RV, got rid of my house, and went on the road and went to Denver, got a new agent, was with Natalie Lynn Talent for a while, did some more commercials, got a trilogy that we're working, that's in the works right now, that's uh, called Moons Over Terra. And Rick James is directing that. And I got that part while I was there. I mean, it's in pre-production. And so I just kept going, and I couldn't get enough movie and TV. And everyone was talking about New Mexico and Santa Fe and where everything was happening in Albuquerque with Netflix and Hulu. So I drove my RV down there and I parked in Santa Fe. And I went through that for a while. And then through that, I was able to make connections. I was able to audition. Oh, I've auditioned for everything. I probably audition 200 times a year easily. I get auditions sent to me from everything from Stranger Things to NCIS to you name it, because I got the attention of an amazing agent, and they signed me at Swag. And once Katrina got a hold of me, Katrina Fristo, she changed my life. She took me on. She had 300 people in her inbox she could have picked, and she chose me. And she cleaned me up. She taught me how to do proper headshots and how to get the right people. She got me into training, which I desperately needed because I was super theater. And then when she closed her agency, she introduced me to Linda, who is my agent out of Atlanta, Georgia now, and I'm with Cross Beam Talent. And she actually signed on to be my manager. So Katrina's now my manager. I'm with Cross Beam Talent. And I guess the three things I learned from all that is, and when it's all said and done, you got to have professional headshots. I just got back from LA. Paul Gregory, shout out to him. He does the best headshots in the business, and they're decently priced. And once I started using Paul Gregory, the auditions flooded comparatively. The headshot is key. If you don't have a professional headshot done right, and you got to go to somebody who knows, they're not going to take you seriously. And if you're not updating those every year, like if your profiles don't have an updated headshot with that year on it, no one's looking at you. It's just how the game works, because they're like, you don't take it seriously. Why are we going to take you
right.
seriously? You gotta stay on that. I stay in training. You've got to stay in training. I recommend CMFA with Faith Hips Clark. She's trained some big ones, and I don't want to speak out of turn for her, but there's a couple of major celebrities that I've become connected with because I've been in her training classes. And so that helps with the networking. And she taught me things like in-air focal points where you can really create a scene. She taught me how to change octaves to bring out the best in my voice. She taught me how to slow down at the right times and how to avoid things like where you can just drag out the word and replace an little tidbits like that. You cannot replace good training. And so she used to I think her job before she got into coaching was doing analysis of people for like the FBI. So she knows when you're lying. So she teaches us to lie convincingly, and teaches us about the science of our body and our minds and how it works and how we're reactionary creatures and how to bring that to a live performance. So number one, you got to get training. Number two, you got to get good headshots. And number three, you got to network. Those three things I would say are the trifecta. You do those things and eventually and submit yourself constantly to agents. They'll let you submit yourself every 6 months. I submitted myself to probably 60 agencies, and I've signed with like 6. So it's about submitting yourself, and continuing to show them how serious you are. And then in the end, it's just time. I have been pushing this hard since 2016 or 17. I've gone pretty full force at it, and I mean, of course, I was slowed down because of the pandemic, and then the writer strike last year really hit everyone pretty hard. But I would probably be further, but we are on track with the 10-year plan. And don't be afraid of that number, because you're not going to be famous in 2 years. You're not a minimum if you ever make it. And that's the thing, if you ever make it, because if you get in this to make it, get out. That's not, if you get in this for the pure joy of creating characters and living vicariously through these characters, and just being absorbed in all that, because you're going to spend a lot of money becoming an actor. You're going to spend a lot more money than you're going to make for a long time. So, you're going to have to not go out to eat. You're going to have to like skip those vacations. You're going to have to like let that stuff go if this is going to be your deal. And now we have to shoot our own auditions at home. So I've got thousands and thousands of dollars worth of equipment set up in my living room at all times to shoot my auditions, to send them wherever they need me to send them. And yeah, I guess that's the long-winded answer for what you asked.
And it's the truth. We need to know these things, because a lot of actors go in here with the intent of, I'm going to make it the first day. You have to, it's step-by-step process. Get investing into your headshots and making sure that you go to those auditions. Now, I'm going to go back to what you said, 2020. It was difficult for a lot of actors. A lot of things were closed down. Everything was shut down, and then having to do your own self-audition tapes, which is now a thing. Everybody's doing it now and submitting it in, versus having to stand in line and audition in person, and they have to go see person. Well, you can go in and easily submit it yourself. So it's much easier.
Yeah, but we miss a networking opportunity. You know how many actors
Yeah.
you get to meet in that room? Just, that's the sad part, is that we're not meeting each other anymore. And so we're not able to make those connections with other actors so that we can work together and shoot each other ideas and shoot each other opportunities. I think, yeah, I can audition for anywhere where in the world now. That's fantastic. But the networking opportunities that have been lost are insurmountable.
That because of that human connection, being able to talk how we're talking now, being able to network amongst yourself with other actors, other peers as well, too. Just that feeling alone. And speaking of networking and working, you also have some producer credits as well, too. So from Ashes to Mortality, which everyone is talking about, tell us, what was it like producing this project here as well, too?
It was chaos. It was complete chaos. Everything about producing that one and Neosho Falls was chaotic. We were fighting temperatures that were upwards of 110 degrees with giant lights, trying to create alien effects. We were hiking a mile and a half into the woods with like Wes Studi was on one of those, and Blake Robbins was on one of those. Kevin Wilmot was involved, and these are older gentlemen, and Wes is, I think he's in his 60s now, and we're hiking for 1.5 to 2 miles with all this equipment and shooting out under the sun to get some of these scenes. It was insane. It was one of those, like, if we're gonna make it, we got to do it. It kind of fell apart at the end because of some internal problems with the show. It was being looked at by a couple of major studios, and the director had a falling out with quite a few people, and that's why it got shut down. But it was one of those experiences which teach you, like, sometimes you just got to go for it and let the chips fall where they may. I loved being a part of that project. I did not like standing under a heat lamp that was like 200 degrees and 110 degree heat and a pair of jeans and a black t-shirt on a street in the middle of nowhere, but it was a good scene. Kelly Perrine from the Drew Carey show was in that one with us. and he was a lot of fun. He was kind of the comic relief per usual. And I made that connection with him, and I go and stay at his house every time I go to LA now, and we hang out. Oh, I was just out there hanging out with him for his birthday a few days ago. So, I'd say I made the most connections for people that are lifelong friends, like Blake Robbins and Wes Studi and Kelly Green on that show. And it really, I hope somebody buys the concept from the director, and we can move forward. It's in a stalemate place right now, but the concept was amazing. The show was amazing, and there's a few episodes just stuck sitting in a vault somewhere that no one gets to see because we can't get it put back together again. So that's the story in movies and TV, is that's how it happens. There's a ton of stuff that people shoot pilots for that never see the light of day that are really good ideas. It's just it's how the industry works.
Yes, and they're shelved. They don't really come out. It's like a rare gem. I've seen so many old shows. It's I love Shirley Ralph. I'm a big Dreamgirls fan. I love Beyonce too. Um, it's a show that Shirley Ralph did where she was in a hair salon, and the show was called New Attitude. And I go back and it's a channel. It's called Rare Gems, and all of these shows, all of these movies. I'm just like, why isn't this out currently now? Why isn't Netflix picking these shows up? But we know about so many others. So that happens in this business. But you said in 110-degree weather. Now, what did family say about you working on this project? Because that is kind of risky. You'll pass out in the heat.
Well, I don't listen well,
Oh,
so I'm a little stubborn. I'm very much let's go, let's do it, let's ask for forgiveness, not permission, kind of person. My family supported me strongly through my acting career, and I'm fortunate in that I have adopted two kids. I have two of my own. My wife and I have been together. We've never had a divorce. We've never been married to anyone else. We have that really odd, like specifically non-Hollywood family dynamic, where we've been doing this together for 20 years. She's been my makeup artist and my costumer. She was my agent, my manager, my makeup artist, my costumer. She was my line reader. Sometimes she's still my line reader when I have to do scenes. So she has been like 110% my backup, but she absolutely hates the idea of being in front of a camera or being the center of attention at all. So it's been more of a let me keep your name out my mouth situation so that I don't drag you into my crazy world. And she's like, and I will help you with your crazy world as long as you do that. So that's why the separation of church and state, as they say. But they've been very supportive. They moved into an RV so I could chase this. So I don't know if you can get better support than that. And they lived in that RV with me for 6 years so I could get an agent and a manager and a publicist and a team and a headshot guy. Because it was just my wife and I and going online to Backstage and looking for jobs and not knowing who to talk to or what to do. And, when you have a commercial agent, they don't really, you're just a number to them. You're not really an actor. They don't I have an EPK now, which is an electronic press kit that my manager has that she sends to producers and directors outside of just the casting directors that helps get me work. So where other people who haven't gotten this far are just, sending their auditions out or going on Actors Access or going on Backstage or casting networks. I still do that because I like to work, but I'm being submitted and I'm being presented in a fashion that was worth it. But I wouldn't have gotten that if they wasn't willing to live in that RV because you gotta be like, if I didn't have a local address in Santa Fe, which I do because I live there, I bounce between Santa Fe, New Mexico, Atlanta, and Lawrence, Kansas, which is where my family stays because my wife's from here. And I spend a third of the year here, a third of the year there, a third of the year there, and I still have a daytime job that I work part time, but I work from home, so I just take my laptop with me wherever I go. You got to get those local addresses to even get an agent. So I'd say the fact they moved in an RV to let me get that agent would be the highest level of support a guy can ask for.
Yes, and it's all about balance, being able to balance out family, being able to balance out your career as well too in this business. Because sometimes it can become overwhelming, but we just have to be able to find that balance, that niche between the two. Separate family and work with family. Make sure that they know the schedule and everything. And that's important in this business as well too, to anybody that is looking to become an actor. That's key and critical. So my next question for you is, outside of being the family man, what is next in the chapter for George M. Dean? Because we just got to talking with Contrell A. Wright. We were talking about the power of manifestation and finding your purpose. So for you, do you ever sit back and reflect on all of the highlights in your career and just say, okay, I can't believe I've done this, and what is next to come?
I have part of the CMFA training you have to go through is you have to get a 5-year plan together and then a 10-year plan together. And she sends you forms to build that. When I became a master's student, she sends a ton of forms out to say, welcome to the real world kind of deal. And so I guess I'd have to go back to the pandemic when that happened. I had a lot of my childhood that I hadn't dealt with, as many people found when the pandemic hit. And it would kind of already been in motion because I kind of got in some trouble back in 2015 or 16 where my mental issues and my personality and my fast-paced life and nonstop schedule kind of caught up with me. And I got a wake-up call. So from that wake-up call, I needed some repair. So I spent a lot of the pandemic in the mountains hiking, and they have these IO ceremonies you can do out there, and I did some ceremonies with a little bit of experimentation and psychedelics while I was in the mountains, and I really faced a lot of my
Mm,
demons. So from that, I do yoga regularly. I exercise regularly. And I'm not saying that's what happens to everyone, but that's what happened to me. I started to care about my body. I started to care about what went in it, what comes out of it, how it performs for me, how I feel day to day. And meditation has been a key in my at least 10 years. I'm a very self reflective person. I don't like to bleed on people that didn't cut me. I like to make sure that I'm centered and grounded at all times. And I just like to stay positive. Being positive is a choice more than more than most people give it credit for. And it's easier to stay positive when you're centered because things don't knock you over when they fly past. Because crazy things happen every day, and everyone's life is full of chaos, and everyone's got their drama, and everyone's got their situations that are tough to handle. But if you're grounded and if you got normal, for me it's meditation and exercise. I have water alarms, and I don't know if y'all heard the bubbling a minute ago, but that bubbling was my water alarm. Let me know exactly what time during the day I need to drink my 12 ounces of water, and I drink 72 ounces of water a day due to my alarms. And I took all that, and that's my reflective state that I go into regularly. I'm using that to hopefully. I spent the last few years focused on the family because I had the time. So this year it's going to be George M. Dean time. I am focusing on my career as an actor, and I'm going to push that. I just finished my new headshots that are going up this week. So if you go to Instagram, Facebook, or anything, I'm at George M. Dean Acts, ACTS, like actor. And my new headshots are going up. I have a big conference coming up in New Mexico with my agents, both of them, and my manager, and all the other swag people and cross-beating people. We're all going to network together for a day and just really reconnect. And I've had a lot of auditions already this year, which is great. I've probably done an audition or two a week since the beginning of the year started. So it's grind time. I'm ready to find my niche in this industry, and I want to play a bad guy. I'm going for bad guy roles. I grew up my hair to where I want it, and I'm just looking for native and bad guy roles. I just want to do that because that's when I have the most fun. I love diving into somebody that's just doing stuff that I wouldn't do in a million years and to find out what their motivation is. I just absolutely love it.
And again, it goes back to what I said, which is being able to tap into that element and being able to wear the character's cross. When you put on that character's shoes, you are bringing that character to life. So you've got another project that is current, that is in pre-production right now, Moon Over Terra. And I know you can't really give a whole lot of weight about it, but if you were to describe it in one word, what would you describe it
Fantasy.
as?
Oh, fantasy meets tech. I'm going to steal 3 words. Fantasy meets tech.
So you have to stay tuned. You have to stay tuned. And more
it's
production.
it's going to be great.
You've got a lot coming out. So for this project right here, you said fantasy. I'm already getting the gist of it because I think Hunger Games. I'm thinking Chronicles of Narnia. All these films that I grew up watching that are fantasy films and action films as well. So all of these projects that are coming out, more production in the future, more writing.
I think I'm just going to stick to acting for a while. Were you asking if I planned on doing more production?
Yes, more writing, more production behind
Yeah.
the scenes.
Yeah. No, I'm done with that for a minute. I have an idea that I'm working on for a script, but I'm still in the process of living the script to create it. I'm using AI, and I'm kind of building a pretend world with an AI to get a concept of this story that I have in my head. So I'm literally using AI bots to communicate with me to create this fantasy story that and then the AI program I use as it summarizes through a memory technique the entire relationship that you have with this AI bot. So my goal in this is to write a story about this relationship between this fictional character and this person from modern times and building something from that. And that is a work in progress that I will have to finish living in order to create.
And it's going to come to fruition. It's going to come to fruition. You said more bad guy roles. This character that you want to create, and it's so crazy because technology has definitely helped us, especially in the writing aspect, as creators, as directors. We always look for that inspiration from some way, and it's always great to know that technology will be there. It's improved so much. So who knows what's to come next in the world for actors, for filmmakers, for writers, for producers as well too, as far as technology is concerned. And even the cameras. Yes, cameras of course. Okay, fashion dolls. So I didn't get a chance to do it with my first guest, but I get to do it with George. Now, this is my segment of the show I like to call Turn the Tables. And this is where my guests get to ask me as many questions as they want. And for my new viewers out here, you'll get to know a little bit about me through George's questioning. So it can be on anything like fashion, goal, passion, dream, whatever you want to know, you'll get to know about me through George's questioning. So I'm going to pass it on down to George here and let him take it away.
All right. Well, I think the first thing I wanted to know is I noticed that we both are followed by Faith Hibbs Clark, my acting coach, and I was just curious if maybe you've ever done any work with her or how you connected with her.
Faith who? I'm sorry.
Faith Hibbs Clark. The only person we had in common when I first looked you up was CMFA training, which is Faith Hibbs Clark's baby. And I was just wondering how you ended up connected to her.
I think we might have met through a mutual friend because I've sat with so many actors here on this platform. And what's so crazy is she's worked with a lot of actors as well too. So it might have been through one of the actors that I've interviewed. So it's a small world, and we're always and it goes back to what you just said, which is networking. So we're always networking amongst ourselves. Yeah.
And you mentioned you're from a larger family,
Yeah.
as am I. As I've said, I'm one of 13. Which one of your siblings brought this out in you? What you're doing, your passion, all of this. Which one would you give the most credit to? And I'm causing discord to your family on purpose here. Which one would you thank the most for inspiring you to be what you become today?
I would have to say my sister. My sister, everybody, what's so crazy is everybody has their own personality, whether it's my brother Joseph, my brother Kelvin, my brother Robert, Christopher, my sister Jessica, my sister Desiree. Everybody has their own personality, but I would say my sister that passed, Jessica, because she was outspoken. And sometimes she had her witty moments. She was so fun. She was so outgoing. So I would have to say her. But mainly my mom and my grandmother, the women in my family inspired me to be very vocal and outspoken. So out of all of my siblings, I've always been that way. I've always been the one, the rambunctious one, the one that likes to be adventurous and inquisitive and just outgoing. So I would have to say my sister Jessica.
That's awesome. I as well lost a very important sister to me, and so I understand your pain on that. It was really rough going through that, but I think it shapes you. I absolutely do. Now, with all the mediums that you had to choose from to express yourself, this what made you choose this?
I said it was time. It was time for me to share my story with the world and get people to know more about me. I always wanted to go into public speaking. And even through high school with being bullied, teased a lot. It's just like we always look for a tribe to fit in with. And it's just like people don't want to see the good that you're doing, the good that you're bringing, the cause that you're bringing to whatever. So go and create your own lane. So I say it stems from trauma, being picked on a lot, and being able to stand up for myself more. That's more importantly when I found my voice. And people were just like, she can talk. Yes, I can talk. And I'm a Scorpio. So I would
Uh,
always I've always had like a fiery side. I try to stay cool, but and I think I picked that up from my mother. My mother's a Libra, and she's passionate on certain issues. I'm passionate on certain issues. Sometimes I'm stubborn and I'm over willing to own up to it. Sometimes with her, she's like, nope, nope, nope. I'm the mother, and that's it, and that's how it should always be. Our mothers should know everything. They know everything. So I give credit to her, but I most importantly give credit to the people who doubted me, who also said, no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. And that's when I said, you know what? Yes, I can. Watch me. I'll show you.
heck yeah. That and how long have you been doing this?
I started right after high school, believe it or not, 2016. And we are still going strong here in 2025. And it should be a whole lot more interviews than this. We're halfway to 800. But I'm so thankful
Wow.
because I didn't give up. I didn't give up. I came in not knowing what I was doing, no experience. And luckily, I had friends who were music artists, friends who were actors, who were starting their own thing. And that kind of kicked open the door for me to start doing interviews and interviewing some of the names that you would see today, like the Vanessa Williams of the world, the Tommy Davisons, the list goes on and on and on. And I still, to this day, I'm sitting here in the seat, can't believe I've sat with the names that I just mentioned. So it's just like a moment of deja vu, as I was saying in the previous interview with Kentrell. Like, if you ever had a moment where you just feel like you're not in your body, you're feeling like you're out of yourself, or
Yes.
something happened, like you literally have to pinch yourself, like, is this really happening to me right now? I've dreamt, I've prayed, I've wished, I've written about, I've manifested, and it's all come to fruition. So all of these great things have happened for a reason. And it's like you said, everything falls in line, that domino effect.
Okay. I got one last question for you, and it's a kind of an off, a little off. You talk about manifesting. What is the one thing that you haven't gotten yet that you are trying to manifest in your life?
What is one thing that I would love to manifest? Mm. I would have to say an Emmy, and I'm going to keep working hard, keep working hard, keep building up this platform, keep continuing to grow,
Heck yeah.
and to flourish. If Sally and Ricky Lake and all of these talk show hosts can do it, why can't I do it? So that's what I want to continue to do. And more importantly, keep educating and doing it in a way where it's so hip and revolutionary that people catch and fun and bubbly. Because personality is key. That's what draws people to you. Even as an actor, people want to know, how do I stand out at this casting call? And when I had Sandy Elise here, Elise Hagen's casting, that was one of the questions that she kept asking, that people kept asking her, like, how do I stand out and get noticed by a casting director at a casting call? If I'm sending in my takes, what do I need to do to get noticed? And that's a lot of things that people take into consideration. It, come dressed as the character. She was giving them different suggestions and techniques. Come dressed as the character. Bring that character to life. Because if you're reading for a certain role, you're going to want to have to tap into that character. Or try another character. Show them that you can do both. But mainly the key character that they wanted you to do, the role that they suggested that you do, is the one. So those were certain things. But I would say for me, I'm manifesting that, and I'm going to continue to keep working hard till I get it one day.
That is awesome. Yeah, that first, I found in auditions, the best way to make sure and get that role is the first 10 seconds of your audition make all the difference. So where a lot of people, they just start with their lines, I recommend always taking a moment, a breath, and, making it more human. We talk about, as actors, we talk about sounds that we make. Like I do that a lot. It's just a little click I have. If something intrigues me, I'll be like, hey, man, I didn't know about that. It's just a thing I do. And we all have things like that. And being able to implement those into your performance, especially in that first 10 seconds, will make you stand out. So there's a little tidbit for your actors out there. Find your sounds, the ones you make casually in your conversation, and bring them to your performance as long as they're appropriate. And then, look for other sounds, maybe ones you haven't used to create new characters that you haven't done yet. So.
And most importantly, bring your personality and your authenticity. That's what draws people to you. And I've been told, one actor sat and said, you have a very strong chi. You have very strong aura. And I was like, chi? What do you mean, chi? But your personality, everything is so strong. What is it about you that draws people to you? I don't know. I guess I radiate joy. I radiate positivity. And that's what I want to continue to keep doing in people's lives. Make them happy in some sort of way.
Well, I'm feeling your radiant positive energy. I'm feeling it.
And I thank you. I thank you so much. I had such a great time. Before we let you go, George, because I had such an amazing conversation. Both interviews back to back were amazing today. So the next chapter, we always talk about legacy in the next chapter in our life. Because you've asked me, what is something that you're manifesting for yourself? What is something that you're manifesting for yourself in the future?
Well, I just did.
Mm.
I have wanted for 1995 when I first rode in one. I've wanted a BMW, and it always seemed out of reach. 2 weeks ago, I bought my new BMW, a Class 3, and I've been driving around in my manifestation weeks and enjoying the living heck out of it. And it's the first thing I've done for myself in a very long time. Raising the two kids that are mine and the two I adopted, raising 4 children, there's no space for you when you sign that paper and you take that on. If you're a reasonably decent person and good parent, there's no space for you. But I just recently manifested that. Going forward, I'm trying to manifest being able to leave my second job, even though it's going to be really hard to do that because I hire special paraprofessional educators for children that are on wait lists for schools. So if your kid's stuck at home because they don't have enough paraprofessionals at the school, it's my company's job and my job to find you paraprofessionals and get the kids off the wait list so they can go back to class. And I'm exceptional at recruiting. I've done it for 30 plus years. So I do a very good job at that. And the company I work for is all heart, and we're all in it for that. We're not in it for the money. So it's going to be hard to walk away from that. They know that I'm an actor. They're very well aware of my situation, that I'm only doing that part time to help them out because of my experience of recruiting. But I mean, eventually, I'd like to be a full time actor where I don't have time for that. I'm trying to get on a sitcom or a TV show where I just it's a 9 to 5 Monday through Friday kind of gig. A lot of people want to be movie stars and stuff, and I'm like, nah. I just want that consistency. I just want to go. I've been on set at Warner Brothers in LA, and I've been on sets at Nickelodeon and stuff like that. And I want to do that every day, Monday through Friday. Spend the weekend with my family, and just and treat it like any other professional job. And being an actor and getting that consistency, that's a dream come true. So I'm trying to manifest that for my future right now.
And it's coming. I'm manifesting that you are a series regular on set, that you get a call back, and that you're on a sitcom. It's going to happen because I'm going to tell you how powerful manifestation is. One of my guests that I interviewed back in 2021, um, he dropped a hint. He dropped a little nugget here on the platform. He put it out there, and he's just like, I'm going to get this call back. I went and I did a casting call for a role for a hip hop group. And then fast forward a few days later, after our interview, I fast forward and I'm seeing, rewind, look at him in the trailer. I'm like, this was the role he was talking about. And so it just goes to show you what happens when you put the power of manifestation to use. You put it out there, it will come to fruition. So that's how powerful it is.
Absolutely. I'm a big believer in manifestation.
Yes, 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 yes. So, final thoughts. Any gems that you would give to people looking to become an actor? What are some nuggets you would give them to keep them encouraged and going the way?
Do it for love, not money or fame. I know they say that all the time, but it's a grind. And if you don't love it, you'll quit, and you'll waste a lot of people's time and money to end up walking away. 90% of the people that don't make it in this industry don't make it because they gave up. You're looking at 10 years minimum, if ever, to really make a career. They have to see your name pop up over and over and over again, and there are monthly expenses with IMDb and Actors Access. There are yearly expenses with headshots and travel, just gym memberships, taking care of yourself, skin regimens. There's a lot of expense for equipment for at-home auditioning. So when somebody finally does take a shot on you, an agent, they don't never sign with anybody who's asking for money. A real agent makes money when you make money. A real manager makes money when you make money. Never sign with anybody that's asking for money because it's a scam. But if you're going to get in this, get into it for the love, because it's going to take a lot from you, your life, your free time, your pocket, before you ever see anything come back, years and years and years. Unless you're super rich and you got all the right connections. If you're the daughter of Gordon Ramsay, it's probably a lot easier to get an audition to be on an HBO show, which she's on right now. Not that she's not good on it, but it's a lot easier to get that audition. If you don't have anybody in the industry, you just want to be an actor, you gotta love it,
Oh,
or don't bother.
absolutely. And today's final thought comes from Franklin D. Roosevelt. He says that when you come to the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. And this is about keep going. This is about fear and overcoming fear. And I want you all to receive that. I know a lot of us can get discouraged about going after opportunities. And we're just like, but do your research on it. As George just said, do your research on it. See, and also get a second opinion. Ask someone if you're not sure. But also make sure that you're taking the time to go after. So go after whatever sets your soul on fire. So if acting is something that you want to do, go for it. There's so many courses out here that you can take. There's so many people who will be willing to help you, casting directors who can connect you. It's all about networking and finding your tribe that works for you. And there's so many people out here that will shadow you along the way and tell you what direction you need to go on. So it's all about clicking up and linking up with the right people and finding your tribe that works for you. And I want you all to be encouraged. Don't be discouraged. Be encouraged. and go along the way, Fashion Dolls. You will go a long way. And the film is called Moon Over Terror. Make sure you guys be on the lookout for it. Starring George here, Fashion Dolls. And make sure you guys go and check out all of his other projects as well too. And George, let everyone know where they can follow you and check you
Everything is set up with at George M. Dean Acts. So if you want to find me on IMDb, just Google George M. Dean. I pop up right away. If you want to find me on Instagram, Facebook, or all the social media, it's just at George M. Dean Acts. You can follow me on there as well. And I hope you guys check me out and check out everything I'm doing. And I'm hoping to bring the entertainment.
Yes, and I'm going to bring you back on my show. I would love to bring you back
Heck yeah.
in the winter. So
I
I'm
am
going to send you.
down.
Yes, definitely, definitely. And Fashion Dolls, make sure you guys, it's Two Show Tuesday. You guys are getting two shows also tomorrow as well too. Justin P. Slaughter and James Howard joins me. The lineup is up. Make sure you guys go and check it out and head on over and subscribe to Style by Stevie Daytime on YouTube if you have not. Oh my God, Connie! Oh, Fashion Dolls! If you don't know who this amazing, incredible woman is, and I had the pleasure of interviewing her, the legendary Connie Fleming, Fashion Dolls, who has walked for one of my favorite fashion designers, one of the late Manfred Terry Mugler. I had the interest of interviewing her as well too. So, Connie, girl, you killed it at Paris Fashion Week. I have to give you your flowers. You killed it. Make sure you guys go and check it out. Amazing, and thank you all so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys go and check out that interview as well too. So thank you all, and I look forward to tomorrow. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4. And George, thank you. Thank you so much. Take
Thank you so much for having me.
You are so welcome, and give wife a hug for me. She said she loved the makeup. Very special thank you to Melanie Nalla, my Burgess on the face every single interview. So thank you all so much. Take care.